And her mom said she looked up. Yeah. Her mom said she looked up a lot.
¿Cómo se dice este?
Wednesday for sure. Okay. Grapo.
Yeah, so she has these things like to have her arms stretched.
So her fingers.
Yeah. Yeah, she does have them.
Pero siempre se le desliza.
But it always slips.
Le sudan las manos a ella como es de madera y se le
bring them in. So her hands start to sweat and then it slips off because it's made out of wood.
Can she bring them when she comes on Wednesday?
Ajá, entonces sí puede traer todos esos materiales así cuando usted venga el miércoles.
Can you make sure that
she got microcephaly from Zika. So one of her parents had the Zika virus.
Apparently her dad had Zika, and so it just got passed on to her. So she had microcephaly.
Microcephaly is a disorder where the child is born with a smaller head, and therefore their brain can't really expand in their head. And usually they have a lot of cognitive or physical deficits.
Her main problem was laying on her stomach and just using her strength to like lift herself up.
We helped her learn how to roll by rolling her on the table a little bit and seeing if she would have any kind of muscular contraction in her abdominals, or see if she would try to roll herself, which she did, which initially her mother said she never did. I've never seen a patient like this before. Her mother and father were so into her treatment and being able to do everything they possibly could to help her out and give her the best life that they could. We asked her to bring all of her equipment that she had back, and we showed her how to use those things, how to roll on them or how to set her up on them, and roll some of the pieces forward to make her use her legs a little bit more.
She'd always want to hold her hands like this, and her mom was concerned of her doing that, and they had kind of these wooden holds that they had for her to hold at night so that she wouldn't like ball up into a fist, but they would always fall out. So using just creativity and some tape and towel, we tried to make that a little better. If you stay like this, I mean, there's lots of problems that can come with that, like circulation issues. And you want to pause it?
Yeah.
Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Bien. Bonita. Gracias.
Rompe mi vida, Señor. Rompe mi vida. ¿Cuánto quiere decir yo quiero ser? Levanten esa voz y levanten esas manos. Yo quiero ser. Todos los que quieren ser un paso nuevo, levanten las manos y háganle así.
It's very powerful, like everyone else said. I don't quite understand what they're saying half the time, but it's hard. Even sitting in the front row like we were, it's hard not to look around and just be like, wow. He's bringing everyone together and everyone's in this.
I think it was cool to like not know what he was saying, because it was like more of a feeling than an understanding of what was coming out of his mouth. But like it felt like more pure to me almost. Like you look around the room and everybody's got their hands up and their eyes closed and I don't know. It was just really cool.
Is basically what you said is that he communicated without saying words that you understand, and you guys can do the same thing tomorrow and all of this week. You can communicate to your patients that you care about them and you want them to feel better without knowing a word of Spanish.
Yeah, it just depends on too how, like he said, how much she has.
Okay.
She has much.
All right. Zach, how many patients we see today?
21, baby! It's a new record, yes.
Each person 10 seconds. First impressions from today.
10 seconds.
Everything's important, like that we learn in school.
I know more Spanish than I gave myself credit for. So.
I kind of forgot what I was going to say. Can it come back to me?
Boo!
No, seriously, I had a good
You
one.
can make something out of anything.
It's cool. It's just like PT can help with a lot of things.
There's a big deed here. I was most impressed with how grateful everybody was. Like I felt like there were some people, you know, we could only give them like one or two things, but they were like so happy and like, oh, I feel so much better. Thanks, you guys are great. God bless. Like everybody said that.
That's one of the coolest things I've ever done.
I thought it was just like a hike down towards the waterfall and we could just see it from a different angle.
And so they gave us helmets, they gave us life vests, and I was like, why do we need all this? Why do we need a helmet?
And I was like, oh, guided tour. They made us wear helmets and life jackets. And I was like, oh, why? Like, is this really necessary?
But no, it was a hike like in the waterfall.
We were literally underneath the waterfall. It was huge.
It was just a downpour. We were literally under the waterfall. Couldn't even see your hand in front of your face or the person in front of you.
You can't see anything and you can't hear anybody. And if you look up to try to see, you can't breathe enough because there's so much water.
Dr. Watson's like, just put your head down so you can breathe through your mouth and close your eyes and feel for the rope. And I was like, what?
Head down, breathe through your mouth so that you can keep going. Just whatever you do, don't let go of the rope.
So keep your head down so you can breathe. And you were like, but why?
So we're going on this just slippery rock and I'm holding a rope and there's just all this noise and water and I couldn't see anything.
It was a good experience to build a lot of team bonding.
The putting your head down and feeling like you can't breathe and feeling like there's just all this noise around you and you're isolated and you know you don't know what's going to happen next. That's a really good metaphor for PT school. It's like you just put your head down, like just don't let go, like right? So it's like just don't give up. You know, just keep on moving in the right direction, pulling yourself forward even though it's tough, even though you have no idea what's coming next, and that there's, in that case, a really beautiful waterfall at the end.
You wanted to like slowly fall off the fork.
All right.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Clinic day number 2, half day.
All right, where we left off at the end of the first day in terms of 360 assessment was the lessons learned, the growth that we were going through. So thinking about that, some people were, I feel like they were really sharpening some of their history taking or their clinical reasoning skills. Think about where we left off and how did you pick up on things and get going?
I do think that one of the things I've noticed too is, and this happened Monday as well, like they give you their chief complaint, you address it, and then they're like, but before I leave, like this is bugging me too, what can I do? Like you really get a sense for like how much need there is for therapy here, and like this is their one opportunity to like get all their questions answered about everything they have going on. So it's like, and then it's like, and my husband, he can't come because he can't walk, but he has this, like what should he do? And like then you don't know like how much you should say, you know, because it's hard without seeing them.
Normally if you get arthritic type symptoms in America, we'd be like, well, have you been to see a doctor? Did they say you were like RF positive, you know, or something like that? But we don't have anything to fall back on, so we kind of have to use our intuition more and then kind of figure out what can we give them that's a practical solution, and then like, you know, what's like, how long should we spend on this before we just decide to address things that we have more control over.
I found that in the U.S. people were a lot more likely to question what you told them to do. Like, my doctor said this, or my friend told me this, or someone else says this. Are you sure, like, your plan for me is the best plan? Like, shouldn't I be doing something else instead? And this, you would, like, tell them one thing and they'd be like, okay, that's what I have to do. Like, this is written in stone very much, so it's kind of different from that aspect to get, like, I'm going to do this no matter what, versus, like, if I think it's worthwhile, maybe I'll do it. Like, it was just a very different mindset in that standpoint.
The opportunity to go and play with the girls whenever we can has been really fun for me. Like, I'll be tired after clinic, but going over there and it hurts my brain to try and talk Spanish with them all the time, but their energy and just gives me energy, and it, like the music we would play with them and dancing and drawing. It just shows me that, yes, there's a language barrier, but it's also not all about words.
I'm gonna be sad, you know, when we go over there the last night and have to say goodbye to all of them. And when I think about, like, you know, hoping that there's somebody here who remembers me and remembers us, I think about them sometimes more than I think about even the patients that we're seeing in the clinic. Emily and I had started, this lady had knee pain and shoulder pain. Well, hey, when you walk those 2 hours to work, are you doing it in those flat sandals? Yes, I am. And then luckily Michelle's foot and her foot are very similar in size. And then it was really sweet, because not only did Michelle give her donation shoes, but then we were just wrapping up. We're like, okay, like, do your band exercises, you know, make sure you wear those shoes when you go to work. And she talks to the interpreter, and then we get from him, he's like, well, she doesn't want to wear the shoes when she goes to work because she has to walk down like muddy trails, and the shoes are like a really bright pink. They're really pretty. She didn't want to get them dirty, you know, because she appreciated the shoes so much.
Yeah. I think I was just so, like, when she said that, I was just so taken aback. I paused. I really didn't know what to say for a second, because I was just like these, I've had these running shoes a while, and like, I'll probably get new ones soon, and like, to me, like, they're just like, it's just crazy to think about that. And then like, I give her, and she's just so grateful, and it's just like, oh, but she wanted to take them off before she left, and she's like, it's muddy, you know, it's muddy when I walk to work. And I was like, exactly like your, and James said, like your body is way more important than those shoes, and it's just like how much she valued those. It's just, I couldn't believe it. So.
One of the things that you will walk away from as an outcome from these experiences is a greater holistic appreciation for your patients. You know, take back to the States, you will consider things that are, you know, they're just taken for granted. And that greater perspective of them as a person will make you a better PT.
I was just thinking about how, like, I think physical therapy is an important, you know, I think physical therapy is important and medicine is important, but even more important than that is like allowing for people to have dignity and for people to have a sense that other people care about them. And I feel like that, like if those things aren't met, then like physical therapy is not really what's needed. What's needed is like, well, I mean, clearly like food, water, shelter, and then like a sense of dignity, a sense of self, a sense of, or maybe just hope in the future, I guess.
First off, let me just say, from my perspective, the whole thing has been a privilege. It really has.
This trip was also an amazing experience because of all of you. And I got to see a little piece of each and every one of your hearts for each other and your hearts for the Honduran people and for the girls. And you made yourselves vulnerable and you worked your tail ends off. It has been an amazing experience, and so much of it is because of you guys. And I will cherish every memory and hold all of you near and dear to my heart. And I'm so, so grateful that you were willing to let me be a part of this trip.
When you go somewhere you've never been and you're thrown into uncomfortable situations, I feel like that's when you get to know people the most.
I'm never gonna forget like all that we've done on this trip, and it's just something you'll never have with anybody else. So I just wanted to thank all you guys for that and sharing all that with me and experiencing it together.
When I was thinking about going on this trip, I was just like, oh, do I really want to do that during my break? I'm not really sure. Maybe I just want to hang out and be lazy and do whatever I want. And I just feel so privileged to be here and privileged just to like work with all of you and all of you on a deep level and just help as much as we can here, and I just can't believe that I almost let that slip through my fingers. So I'm just so blessed to be here.
Oh, hey. Yeah. we've been slammed today. I mean, this clinic is hopping. It's almost overwhelming. Matter of fact, they. Oh yeah, they're good. They're good. Watching them like a hawk. Watching them like a hawk. They've got all the oversight they need.